You're supposed to also be talking now. You know the good. First note of the 11. Measure 11. Play and hold. And. F natural altos. E flats. E flats. Third position. A flats here. First valve. Here we go again. And. Please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Good evening, and welcome to the Northwestern Middle School and Northwestern High School Winter Band Concert. This evening, you'll see all three bands of the concert bands of the Northwestern Middle School and High School Band program. The group in front of you is the 7th and 8th grade band. They have performed traditionally for the last, decade, 2 decades, as a combined ensemble. And then after them, you will hear the 6th graders who just started on their instrument this fall. And then after intermission, we will have the high school band perform. One of the great band traditions is playing the national anthem. And so we continue that tradition tonight with our 7th and 8th grade band. The next piece we're going to play is a nice little arrangement of O Come All Ye Faithful. while our percussion gets set up for our last piece, for this group's last piece, tell you just a little bit about the program. So we start students in 6th grade, and they start first quarter, they have just small group lessons. And then as the year goes on, we start adding full band, and the lessons continue, and the music gets a tad bit more complicated to the point to where they get into the 7th grade, and then 8th grade, they're continuing to learn new notes and rhythms and concepts, but then things get a little thicker. So as you heard in that last piece and in the Star Spangled Banner, where we don't necessarily even have all the clarinets playing the exact same part or all the trumpets playing the same parts. We've got some split parts, so they really have to listen careful and count carefully and know that, okay, I'm not playing the same as what everybody else is playing. So I have to count my part and come in so that everything kind of fits together well. One of the things you'll see when the 6th graders come out is that all the percussionists start on bells. And then in January, we will start to eventually add snare drum to that, a little bit of bass drum by the end of the year. And again, so that by the time we get to 7th grade and 8th grade, they're starting, in addition to bells, they're doing snare drum, crash cymbal, bass drum, triangle, and a whole host of other instruments. So we're going to finish our little part out here with a piece called Holiday Fantasy that includes, I think, 3 or 4 different little holiday pieces. I just remembered something that I was worried I would forget, and I didn't. So in January 13th, we have a few students from our group that are representing Northwestern Middle School in our all-conference band. So our music conference is made up of about a half dozen to a dozen schools in our immediate area, and we host an all-conference band, high school and middle school all-conference bands and all-conference choirs, where we get the schools come together for a day and perform as an ensemble. Now, we don't have everybody from each band, just select kids from each of the groups. So at the all-conference band, I think we have 8 or 9 schools participating. And they learn one of the pieces ahead of time, and then the other 2 pieces they receive on that day and learn it that day and give a concert that day. So those students, they were just told a couple days ago which ones are participating. Why don't you stand up and be recognized? Those that are participating in the all-conference band. Let's give them a nice round of applause. All right, and now Holiday Fantasy. All right, this of course is the 6th grade band, and for their first public performance, they're going to be playing, Rolling Along, Mary Had a Little Lamb. As I mentioned earlier, we start students here in 6th grade, and other than whatever they might have learned outside of school, piano or drums or obviously recorder and some percussion instruments at the elementary level, for the most part, none of them have played the instrument that they are holding on to right now, okay? Until September of this year. So again, we start first quarter, that's about 9 weeks, really about 8 weeks by the time we get going, of small group lessons. So they come down once a week for about half an hour, start by learning some very basic things like this is the flute, this is the clarinet, identifying parts of the instrument, putting it together, getting a sound on it, and then finally learning some notes on it. So the next piece we're going to do is Go Tell Aunt Rhody, and that will be followed by Lightly Row. This next piece, I suppose, is kind of the first full band piece in that we get to hear the different sections. And the key to being successful in this piece is counting. They have to really count carefully because the different sections come in at different times. So this is called Listen to Our Sections. So this next one is the French folk song, Au clair de la lune, which means by the light of the moon. And on this one, we've added some dynamics. So playing loud and playing soft. And our general rule is you only play as loud as you can with a good tone, and you only play as soft as you can with a good tone. Now, the two words good tone, we're working on that. We're working on that. This is Au clair de la lune. All right, this next one, London Bridge, is a duet. So they've got two different parts. So they have a duet earlier in the book, but it doesn't give us any harmony. So this one gives us a little bit of harmony. So you're going to hear half the band playing one of the parts and the other half playing the other half, or the other part. And then the second time around, they switch parts. So then everybody gets to play both parts of it. So this is London Bridge is Falling Down. All right, this next one is probably one of the most popular pieces ever played by any beginning bands in the history of beginning bands. And in our book, it's called Mozart Melody, but you know it by another name. All right, before we play our last piece, a few announcements, really just a few thank yous. But before that, I want to encourage you to stick around. We'll have about a 15-minute intermission, okay, enough to use the restrooms if you need to, get a drink of water. and then come back in. The high school has a few non-holiday selections, and then we're doing 3 movements from the Nutcracker Suite that you should enjoy. And then, of course, we end with our traditional Let It Snow with the 8th graders joining the high school band up on the stage. So a couple thank yous. One, I want to thank our supervisors that we have helping backstage, keeping this a nice, well-oiled machine. Kids were where they needed to be when I needed them, which was great. So let's give the supervisors that are backstage a nice round of applause. Thank you, back in the band room. Thank you to Mrs. Paulson up in the booth who's doing the live stream tonight. So thank you, Mrs. Paulson, for helping with that. And then, the Mrs. Paulson fan club is here tonight up there, I hear. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, one of the traditions we started a number of years ago is having some years it's been flutes, clarinets, some years it's been saxophones, but having a small group of high school kids playing in the commons as you all were walking in. So if you enjoyed them playing for you tonight, let's give them a nice round of applause. Thank you. All right, so we're going to close out our part before intermission here with the ever so popular Jingle Bells. All right. If you were in band in school, and I'm going to say over the age of 50, 45 or 50, it's probably hard to get through school without playing at least one piece by James Swearingen. He wrote a lot of pieces in the 1980s. I oftentimes credit him with my love of band music. I still to this day remember doing a piece called Novena, which I've done with this group. And this is the first time in my 32 years that we've done Exaltation. So a really nice piece by him. He has done a lot of arranging. The school song that you hear us play is actually a Swearingen arrangement. And that particular piece we actually did in the all-conference band. So we had some members of this group participate in the all-conference band, and enough of them said, hey, we kind of like that piece. Can we do that one on our next concert? I said, sure. So Exaltation by Swearingen again, and kind of in the classic, what we call, ABA format. We've got this little introduction, but then it's fast-paced, and then he's got this nice chorale section in the middle, this time featuring a nice little alto sax duet there, solo back there, and then fast-paced again at the end. All right, so this next piece was a piece that I came along a couple years ago, Michael Sweeney piece, and Michael Sweeney is a long-time arranger, writer. We've done several pieces by Michael Sweeney. The Star Spangled Banner that you heard tonight is a Michael Sweeney arrangement, and he actually runs, or at least for a while ran, the band division at Hal Leonard down in Milwaukee, Hal Leonard Publishing. So this piece is a very touching piece. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So we've got, the work is built around two early American hymns. The opening section uses the melody of Vermont by Williams Billings, who also wrote Chester. And then the harmony is altered a little bit. And then Near My God to Thee by Lowell Mason and Sarah Flower Adams is also featured in this. And it's from that hymn where we get the text on Joyful Wing is in that. All right, so here's where I'm going to get. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I probably won't, so you're just going to have to deal with this here. So the dedication is very sweet. So it's Dan Summerlin. This was dedicated to a person named Dan Summerlin. He was a beloved figure in the town of Single Mountain in the Chattanooga area. He passed away in 2017 after a battle with cancer. His two twin sons, Jack and Jake, were in their third year of band at Single Mountain Middle School at the time. In addition to being known for coaching and participating in youth sports in Chattanooga area, Dan was known for going out of his way to show his love for those around him, especially, especially Jack and Jake. In their first year of middle school band, Jack, who played trumpet, and Jake played trombone, began asking me, this is from the band director, for alto saxophone music to everything we were playing in band. Confused, I copied it for them each quarter, finally asking what it was for. Their dad liked to practice with them. So in the middle of the piece, you're going to hear a little section that's written for trumpet, alto sax, and trombone, and that is for Jack, Jake, and Dan. All right, the next three pieces we're going to do are all together as a unit. That's your hint to not clap until we get to the third one. That was your hint, okay? So we're going to do all three of these together kind of as a group. These are three from the Nutcracker Suite. An interesting part about this, as percussion kind of gets set up and we take a bit of a break on stage, is that, so written in 1892 by Tchaikovsky for the winter season. We premiered in December. Before the ballet had even premiered, he actually wrote this concert suite for it. So oftentimes when you hear music from the Nutcracker on the radio or that sort of thing, it's usually from the full orchestral concert suite. It was done for promotion. So the concert did some concerts during the summer to kind of drum up interest in the ballet. And the ballet was moderately successful, if you can believe that. It premiered, it did okay. And then in the and it really wasn't heard of for many, many years. And then in the 1960s, one of the ballet companies in this country decided to stage it and re-choreographed it, and it was very successful. Well, once something's successful, ballet companies figured, hey, this is a way to get us into the black during the holiday season, because everybody likes to go see the Nutcracker nowadays. So really, since about the 1960s, we've had the tradition in this country of major ballet companies staging it. Works really well for that. A lot of different ensembles. You can involve a lot of people. So here is the March, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, and then Waltz of the Flowers from the Nutcracker Suite by Tchaikovsky. Thank you. We are going to very quickly add some chairs and do some moving around and get our 8th graders down here to join us on Let It Snow. All right, a few years ago, we started the tradition of getting our 8th graders up here because one of the next things in their lives is signing up for high school band. And signing up for high school classes, they have a registration meeting coming pretty quickly after we get back from winter break. So tradition started a number of years ago where we end this concert with them joining us on Let It Snow. Also featured on Let It Snow, we've got our seniors featured on this one. So we've got Libby over on woodblock, and then both our timpani player, drummer, and then since Haley didn't join band till high school, she did not get the chance to play this in 8th grade. So I'm making her play it with us tonight. So Let It Snow. Again, thanks for coming this evening. I hope you enjoyed the concert, and this is Let It Snow.